Your coworker is not just difficult, and they are definitely not just misunderstanding you. There is a specific psychological pattern happening in modern workplaces, especially in corporate environments, where one person slowly shifts how the entire room sees you, without ever directly attacking you. And the worst part? You usually don't realize it's happening until your reputation has already changed in people's minds. You can be doing everything right, delivering good work, being on time, being cooperative, but still, somehow, you become the confusing one, the uncertain one, or the person who needs clarification. And you sit there thinking, wait, how did I become that person? That is not random. That is not coincidence. That is a structured psychological behavior. It has a name in behavioral psychology circles. It's called a gaslight pivot. And if someone at your workplace is doing these 3 specific things in meetings, you are already inside their influence pattern. But here is the part nobody tells you. There is a simple sentence, a calm, controlled response, that completely breaks this pattern instantly. And once you use it correctly, they don't target you the same way again, because you stop being emotionally readable. And in manipulation psychology, that makes you dangerous. Let's slow this down, because most people completely misunderstand what is actually happening at work. They think workplace conflict looks like open arguments, shouting, disagreements, direct criticism. But in real environments, especially professional offices in the US and corporate setups, the most effective manipulation is never loud. It is subtle, it is structured, and it hides inside professional language. You will hear things like, just to clarify, I might be wrong, but maybe we misunderstood something. Let's double check this part. On the surface, these sound harmless, even helpful, even collaborative. But psychologically, these phrases are doing something very specific. They are not correcting you. They are not improving clarity. They are shifting perception. Because the human brain does something interesting in group environments. We don't evaluate truth first. We evaluate social agreement first. So when someone introduces doubt in a calm, professional tone and others stay silent, your brain assumes, okay, maybe there is a problem here, even if there isn't. And the person using this tactic knows something most people don't. You don't need to prove someone wrong. You just need to make others slightly unsure. Because uncertainty spreads faster than confidence. And once uncertainty spreads, your reputation begins to change without your control. The gaslight pivot explained. Now let's break the actual mechanism behind this. The gaslight pivot works in 3 stages. And once you recognize these stages, you will literally start seeing it everywhere. Stage 1, the setup frame. The coworker waits until you present something. A report, an idea, a solution, a result, something you are confident about. Then they insert a neutral-sounding comment. Not aggressive, not direct, just slightly suggestive. I think there may still be some confusion here. This is important, because they are not attacking your work. They are attacking the interpretation of your work, and that is much more powerful. Stage 2, the social echo. Now they wait. This is where most people don't notice the manipulation. They don't push further. They don't argue aggressively. They just let the comment sit in the room. And humans hate unresolved tension. So someone eventually reacts. Yeah, maybe we should revisit that. Or, good point, I didn't fully get that either. Now something has shifted. Not because the original statement was wrong, but because doubt has been socially validated. Stage 3, the reframing. Now comes the final step. The coworker steps in again. I just want to make sure we are aligned. And now the narrative becomes, you are someone whose work needs clarification. Not because it's true, but because it has been framed that way repeatedly. And repetition becomes perception. That is the gaslight pivot. It is not a lie. It is not a confrontation. It is a repeated framing strategy. And it works because most people respond emotionally instead of structurally. Why smart people fall for it? Here is the part that surprises people the most. This tactic doesn't only work on inexperienced employees. It works on smart people. It works on high performers. It works on people who actually know their job. Why? Because intelligence does not protect you from social dynamics. In fact, sometimes it makes it worse. Because smart people tend to do 3 things. They over-explain. They try to be accurate. They assume good intent. And each of those responses actually strengthens the manipulation pattern. Because the manipulator is not trying to debate your knowledge. They are trying to control how others feel about your knowledge. And once you start defending yourself emotionally, you enter their frame. And the moment you enter their frame, you stop controlling the narrative. Be honest. If you've ever felt like someone at work was slowly twisting how others see you without directly attacking you, drop a comment saying defense mode, because I want to see how many people are actually dealing with this silently. Now let's break the exact method to shut this down. Most people think the solution is to argue better. That is completely wrong. Arguing makes you reactive, and reactive people lose control of perception. Instead, you need to do something counterintuitive. You remove ambiguity, because manipulation cannot survive precision. Here is the exact response pattern you use when someone tries a gaslight pivot. You say calmly, just to stay aligned, what specifically are you referring to in my part? Then you stop talking. No explanation, no defense, no emotion, just silence. Now here is what happens psychologically in that moment. The person who made the vague claim is forced to convert emotion into evidence. And most of the time they cannot, because their original statement was not evidence-based. It was perception-based, and perception collapses under specificity. Why this breaks the pattern? This is where the shift happens. The entire manipulation strategy depends on one thing: vagueness. Vagueness allows interpretation. Interpretation allows doubt. Doubt allows influence. But your response removes vagueness instantly. You are not arguing. You are not disagreeing. You are simply forcing clarity. And clarity is uncomfortable for manipulators, because clarity exposes whether they actually have substance behind their claim. And in most cases, they don't. So now the room changes. People stop focusing on you and start focusing on them, not because you attacked them, but because you required them to be precise. And precision is where manipulation goes to die. Real workplace shift. After you use this approach a few times, something interesting happens in your environment. The same coworker starts adjusting behavior, not because they respect you, but because their strategy stopped working. And humans naturally stop behaviors that don't produce results. They begin to realize, this person does not react emotionally. This person does not over-explain. This person does not enter confusion easily. And suddenly, you become a high-cost target, because manipulating you requires effort now. And manipulators always choose low-effort targets. So without confrontation, without conflict, without drama, you naturally exit their targeting system. If this made you see workplace dynamics differently, then understand this. This is just one layer. There are many more subtle psychological patterns people use in offices, relationships, and social groups that most people never notice. And once you start recognizing them, you stop reacting, you start observing, and that changes everything. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe to Dark Mind 999. Because once you see the system behind behavior, you can't unsee it again. Let's simplify everything so you remember it. The gaslight pivot works through vague statements, social validation, emotional reaction, repetition over time. It fails against specific questioning, calm tone, non-reactive behavior, precision-based responses. And the most important shift is this: you are no longer trying to prove yourself. You are forcing others to define themselves. And that flips the entire power structure. Because in social environments, the person who defines the frame controls perception.